Welcome everybody, Two Saw Acres here. Today, fixing an old seat mount for, I believe it's a Case 730 Comfort King. A good neighbor of mine brought it down, needs it welded up. So what happened here, I'll bring it in closer so you can see. This tractor is pretty old, and the pin for the seat is obviously worn right through. Alright, so got a couple options here. Thought about maybe just finding a washer, you know, welding it up, cut it out, weld it up, but it's really hard to, cut these perfect. Once there's a big hole in the middle and trying to get the outside diameter down to what you need it to be. So I think what I'm going to do, I've already gone through and cleaned up my steel and cleaned this up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hole saw that'll cut me a hole, or cut a chunk big enough out of this that it can just replace this whole piece. And then that pilot hole for the hole saw will be a good pilot hole for the 5/8 drill bit there. And then what I'll do is I'll rig up a hole saw guide, clamp it in place there, and drill out a circular chunk right here, right there, where the piece that I cut out of this will match up perfectly, and then I'll be able to, just chamfer the edges and weld it all back together. And I think that's going to work out pretty good. It should be a pretty simple fix. First, I'll heat this little bent up tang and knock it back down. It looks like it's a clean break right here. So I'll bend it back into position so I can get a good idea of what it should look like, and I'll probably make the new one a little bit bigger. And then once I'm done, I'm going to test it out thoroughly. I'll probably put the pin in it and jump on it, stand on it, maybe pry on it. He's an older gentleman living down the street, and certainly don't want this thing to break off. See him go tumbling off the back of the tractor. So yeah, not too bad. As easy as that was, I'm almost tempted just to weld that back together, but no, it's got some stress cracks up on or fatigue cracks on the top. I think that's what those would be called. But yeah, it's cracked, so we'll go ahead and just replace the whole system, the whole end piece, loop. Like I said, that was just to get us an idea of the size of the cutout. I'll go get some hole saws. Looks like we're going with 1 3/8 inches. Should put the center about there. Okay. Take this over to the drill press. Nope, gonna have to do this by hand. And that's not gonna make it through there. Two. And then we'll rig up our hole saw jig, or guide if you will. And I'm going to use a bigger hole saw, basically the width of the blade itself. I'll double that, go to the next size up. That way the chunk that I cut out of here will match that perfectly. Because if I use the same size hole saw, the outside's going to be too big. Right? If I do that. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, not go up size, go down in size. So whatever size that hole saw was, 1 3/8, the width of the blade, I'll subtract it times 2 and cut a hole here. Cut that chunk out there. That way this piece should marry up exactly where the old one come out, where this chunk comes out. Just whatever the width of this is, that's the size hole saw I need. Yeah. So 1 7/32, which the closest I can get, because I guarantee I don't have a hole saw 1 7/32. So the closest I can get is a hole saw that's 1 1/4. 1 1/4. It should be. It is just a smidge bigger, so that'll be perfect. Because when I chamfer it in, I'll have a little bit of a gap for welding. So I drill this out at 1 1/4, and the arc that's left from the cutout will be perfect to weld that new piece in. So that's what we're going to do. So now I got to rig up. Really, all I should have to do is cut a hole with the hole saw right through this guy, and clamp that guy right there where I want the hole, punch it through. So this is kind of turning into a bummer here. The only 2 1 1/4 hole saws I got, the good one, is dull, and then I got this cheapo. So I think I'm going to use the dull one first, the good one, to get the guide hole through my piece of wood. And then I'll try this one first just to see if I can actually get a groove started. Because it has the smaller, well, I guess that doesn't matter, pilot drill. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's always something. I'm going to use this piece of oak trim as my guide. Yep, that's what I was looking for. It's hard to see, but my scribe line is right in there. That's my hole saw guide. And we'll see how it goes. Try not to buy too much from Harbor Freight, but it's hard to beat these. Piece of junk. The only thing that's grinding in there is that damn bit. Alright, trying it again with the good but dull blade. Well, as much as I'd like to try to find a hole saw, I just ain't got time to dink around with trying to find another one. Neither one of these will do the job. They're both dull. So what I'm going to do is clamp this in place on the other side, use the dull hole saw to scribe a line, and then I'm just going to use a grinder and grind it out. Man, I hate doing this. Just makes it that much more time consuming. I don't know why, but this side's cutting. I'll be dang. I wonder if I hit it on reverse. No, I couldn't have. Well, I'll be damned. That's what I was hoping to do. Bring y'all around here so you can see this. That's exactly what I wanted. See? Cut that piece out with my hole saw. Now that piece, look at that. Friggin' beautiful. Cool. So maybe I did have that drill bit, or that drill on reverse. I can't imagine I'd have done that. Maybe this side got hardened or work hardened or something. Honestly, I don't know. These don't make sense. Find out, huh? All right. That is how we cut holes in metal without a pilot hole. I'm actually really surprised that worked. Well, not surprised. I'm not surprised that my method worked, but surprised that that drill worked, or the drill bit. Hole saw, jeez. Let's get in here and take a closer look. Yeah, the second one here, the first one I tried first, and then did that one, and then actually came back to this one. I don't like this one quite as much. but I think it's going to work out just fine. So we take our piece here. Yeah. See? So by stepping the bit size down just a little bit. Yeah. So I got a little bit of grinding to do. Get these parts cleaned up. Prep it. Put some chamfers on there. Get this little ridge from the drill bit. Get that taken off, cleaned up. Once it's all cleaned up, we'll get the welder out. Hopefully put it all back together. Okay. All of our pieces are cleaned up here. I got chamfers on all of my edges, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to magnet hold it in place. And I'll be able to fill all that in. Looks pretty straight. Both 1/4 inch plate, 1/4 inch plate. So I'm going to get this thing tipped up on its side a little bit so I can cheat while I weld. And once the tabs are welded on and I'll grind everything smooth, we'll go ahead and drill out our holes to a 5/8 to match the pin. Okay. Welding's done. Look pretty stout. I kind of built up the edges a little bit just because it started to eat in at the sides. So I put a little extra in there. Now I'm going to hit it with a flap disc and smooth it all out, get rid of any stress risers. And then we'll be ready to drill it, and I think the neighbor can do the painting. I'm a huge fan of painting. So we got a little bit of undercut going on here, and I want it to look like one piece of metal. Let's see, it's not terrible. Would it hold? Probably, but I'm not a huge fan. I want it to look like one solid piece of metal. So, get the MIG back out. Fix her up. I'll get back when we're done. Alright, we're back. This looks really good. I don't see any undercut. Yep. That should be pretty doggone good. I've already got the 5/8 drill bit chucked up. I'm going to get these holes drilled, test the pin. That should be it. Hopefully this thing doesn't get all wonky on me. I didn't clamp down the workpiece, which, watch, I probably should. Chucked up a bit, didn't plug in the drill. It needs to be clamped. How to clamp this bugger down. Whoa! Careful. The bite. I think I'm going to drill the pilot hole on the other side just a smidge bigger. She fits. A lot easier. There she is. Dunzo. Voila! Lunchtime. All right, folks, well, that was my first time actually using a hunk of wood as a guide for hole saw on metal. And I have to say, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Pretty simple, actually. As far as the whole repair goes, I mean, once you throw some paint on there, it's still a bit warm, but once you throw some paint on there, everything's nice and straight. Glued that just from the drilling here a second ago, but yeah. And like I said, I'm gonna do a little testing myself. I'll get this sleeve out of here and I'll probably put a pry bar on it and maybe stand on it just to see if it can withhold the weight. But I really don't think anything's happening. I mean, there are no cracks or nothing. So, alrighty. Hey, don't forget, hit the like, subscribe. Doing projects like this all the time. As you can see, everything is a absolute mess right now. Working on at least a dozen different things, but keeping busy and getting stuff done little by little. I wish you all the best. Have a great day. Bye.